Okay, this is try number 2 on our casting endeavor here. We're playing a 6-handed $1 sit and go. We are paying the top 2 places. I believe it's $4 for first and around $2 for second. We have not played with any of these players. This infection guy we have played with before. I just got done playing a tournament he was in. Very tight player. We just banked 2 pair here, so definitely going to bet. And obviously he didn't have a whole lot, so he might have had a 10 or a king there. Anything, probably just some type of draw, maybe 10 with a draw or something like that. But obviously the queen was probably the best hand anyway. We'll just call in this spot here. If he raises, obviously we'll be calling, but king probably didn't help him. He's probably going to raise with the king, so we'll go ahead and take a stab at this, and we'll take that down. Getting back to the one person we do have some hand history on. So after 28 hands, the infection guy, so in 28 hands, he's played 1 hand out of 28 voluntarily. So other than the blinds, out of 28 hands, he's played one hand, and that 1 hand he's raised with. So we can pretty much assume that if he gets very aggressive early in a hand, he's probably got a pretty big hand. Obviously, we've only got 28 hands of history on him, but unless he's had 2-7 dealt to him 27 times, he's been really, really tight. So, a couple other inferences we can make off of a player like this. He's got half of 1 bronze star, which means most of the players that play here a lot take those stars off, so no one has any idea how much they play here. The newer players, like this guy down here, has got 2 silvers. And this guy's got half of bronze. So that means he's new to the site. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's new to internet poker or he's new to poker. That just means he's new to the site. So generally these kind of players, they're either absolute psychopaths or they're really nitty. And this guy seems like he's a little bit on the nitty side. Well, he's not a little bit on the nitty side. He's a nit. So just in a couple things we can make a few references. Or inferences, not references, inferences. But, poker's obviously a game of incomplete information, so every little bit of information you can fill in the gaps with is beneficial. And, knowing that he's a newer player and he's very tight means some type of marginal situations will probably 2 or 3 barrels of aggression probably can push him off a hand. If he digs his heels in and raises all in, you have to assume you have to make an educated guess that he's probably got it. So we'll see. This is the second tournament I've played with him, so we will actually see what kind of player he is. Once again, ace rag. Not much we want to do with that. It's early position, under the gun. We're not going to... And we have been summarily punished for folding set ace. Probably. Not necessarily, probably. Hard to believe that wasn't the best hand, but maybe we saved ourselves a stack there. Hard to say. Obviously, there's not going to be a whole lot we're going to do with this. Anybody gets aggressive here pre-flop, we will be out of the hand. So, we'll just check, and we bink it there, so we're going to check behind here. See if we can induce some type of bet here. So we will be checking raising. That's a little much because I think we want action here. So I think about 110 seems like about the right amount there. If we check, there's a good chance he's going to check right behind. So we don't want to, obviously we don't want to do something silly like that. So I think a bet of 225, somewhere there, 225, 215. That is probably the best card we could have possibly hoped for there, because it's a good chance he was on diamonds. So we're going to bet on the bigger side here of 700, because if he's on some other draw, he's not calling anyway, right? And there's a good chance he does that, and hopefully he does not have king-queen. Alright, that's kind of what we thought he had there. It was a diamond flush. That was absolutely a beautiful card on the end there. Nice when things work out like that. So we were right to get it, although in the end it probably wouldn't have mattered. All the money was going to go in the middle. But we were able to extract maximum value throughout the hand when he was on a draw. So we correctly put him in a range of hands. And we bet an amount that made it reasonable for him to call, but still kept us getting value out of it. So that worked out perfectly. Doesn't always work out like that, but in that instance, that was absolutely perfect. Now, you could say that it'd be a good time to start getting really aggressive here, but the blinds are still so small that even if I raise here 2x, that makes it 90 for these guys to go, and they're still not going to make a lot of mistakes calling with just putting 90 chips in the middle there. They're still going to, unless I've got them absolutely buried, dominated there, they're still getting way too good of a price to call, so not quite yet. We need to let the blinds get up in the 100, 150 range, then we can start leaning on people a little bit more. So we had a raise and a re-raise out of the big blind there, and then that type of flop, and he did donk lead out, which is certainly acceptable there. I think we're going to fold here. That's probably a little bit on the tight side, but we're gonna let a couple of these guys blow themselves up, and then we can get aggressive. We just got a nice chip stack here, and there's no sense in spewing out a couple hundred chips every hand trying to knock somebody out. We'll let these other guys knock each other out, and we will extract attacks for them to play. So we'll attack the blinds when we're in position. We're not going to try and we're going to play in position. We're not going to get spewy out of position here. Queen 4 suited. I think we can safely call here. That's a pretty good flop for us. I think we're going to go ahead and lead out here. I think 105 seems like a good number. We got top pair. So if he shoves, what are we going to do? Well, we'll kind of deal with that when we get there. I really don't want him to shove here. Okay. It's just fine. We didn't really want to get involved. We didn't exactly have a monster there, so need a little bit. Didn't risk too much, so we're going to go ahead and call that a win. Small blind with ace-7 offsuit to a guy who's shown that he's capable of firing multiple barrels. We'll go ahead and let that one go as well. Once again, we're going to try and play these pots in position. Queen 9 on the button here. We are going to go ahead and raise, and we will make it 125. Infection there has shown himself to not call unless he's pretty strong, and the other guy here, he's going to be out of position, so we're going to win this pot more often than we're going to lose it. So we'll just go ahead and fire a continuation bet of 190, and hopefully that should be enough to get it done, and it was. Our two cards are kind of meaningless in that situation there against a player that he's playing 60% of the hands pre-flop, so he's going to call almost any raise, and he's calling with such a wide range that pretty much any flop you're going to bet. So the two cards you have in your hand on the button there are pretty much meaningless. We're going to raise on the button, and we're going to continuation bet with this guy 100% of the time. And you're going to just win so often that you know, the 1 out of 10 times that he does actually hit a hand, he raises back at you and you fold, but it's still such a profitable situation that you're really costing yourself some value by not just raising him every single time. Okay, so we got some hot blind on blind action here. We would have turned top pair, but I don't think we would have made it to the turn, so it's kind of an irrelevant point. So we could have a straight here. We could have just a 4, maybe 4-5, some type of combo draw. Maybe a couple diamonds. It felt like more of a draw-heavy hand than a made hand. Obviously, we will not be playing the 2-4, so we can go ahead and let that one go. King 7 in the small blind. Probably will complete. Unless we get some type of raise, and that actually is not a problem. We will let this one go, and hopefully these guys can blow themselves up. I'd like to see another person get eliminated here. That seems like kind of an iffy kind of a raise. That seems kind of like he's trying to steal here. So let's see if we can re-steal here. It just felt like he doesn't have a whole lot here. I would guess he's maybe a soft ace, king 10, king jack, something like that. I don't think he's got a pair here. If he does have a pair, I would not expect him to fold. We flop middle pair, so we beat most of your ace draws. And he's going to lead out. Now, we've seen him do this twice. So we told a story that we had a pocket pair. So we are going to continue that story. I mean, a 50 chip bet into 575 just makes so little sense. I mean, that's kind of a... I think maybe I have the best hand, but I'm going to bet really small and let you tell me whether I have the best hand. So we told him that he did not have the best hand, and I don't think he did. I don't think there's any chance that he had the best hand there. We definitely have the best hand there 99% of the time. Wouldn't expect him to be tricky enough to bet small like that and then check raise out of it. That would be some pretty serious leveling there, and just wouldn't expect it at this level. Jack 7 offsuit. We'll go ahead and let that one go. We're having pretty good pot control here. We're kind of doing what we want when we want and kind of dictating the action. There's no reason to go putting ourselves in marginal situations when there's no need to. Just keep playing solid ABC poker against this kind of players, and we will do just fine. An interesting call on the button. We don't see that too often. Actually, if we could have our hand back, we certainly would like to, but too late. So he limps. He limps on the button, and then he bets that flop. So it's possible he had a couple suited connectors or maybe some type of pair. I don't know. Pretty tough to say. He's still playing 55% of the hands here, so him and zero outs there. Their zero outs is playing 42%. So in 24 hands, he's played 10. So that's pretty high. This SFX to my right here, he's pretty tight. He's played 2 out of 25 hands, so. Ace 4 offsuit. Now that makes this decision pretty easy, which is actually kind of nice because we were kind of in a goofy spot there. If we wanted to be, I was probably leaning towards folding anyway. We would have been in really bad shape. Really bad shape. So, aces versus ace king. That is just pretty rotten because in a 6-handed sit and go, you're just not folding ace king ever. Hey, that's just called flopping the nuts. That doesn't really change anything. He still has so few chips that he's kind of basically a side pot at this point. I would say that him getting a lot of the chips is probably not a bad thing. I mean, I guess maybe we would have preferred the infection guy to get a real tight player, but I think we can safely play with Alomar here and not be too worried about it. Once again, Jack 7 suited. It's certainly playable, but I don't really want to put myself in that situation because he's almost always doing that. And we would have been in very bad shape. And the king takes it down. That's what he's up to. What's he at here? 450 chips, so not the end of the world, but we certainly don't want to just double him up for no good reason here. For this price, we can go ahead and call here. See, now we're in kind of a sticky situation here. He's almost always going to continuation bet, and we really want to continue with bottom pair. There's a couple spades, or at least one spade out there, maybe another straight card or something we could consider calling here, but I don't think we can do anything else but fold. We almost would have to get there to get him to fold, and that's not going to happen. This is going to be kind of an interesting spot here. We'll see what happens, but I'm leaning towards a very large... That is a very good thing, because I think we're going to go ahead and definitely 3-bet. We're going to 3-bet on the larger side to get rid of these other guys and play this guy heads up. I think that should be enough to get these other two out of the hand. I don't want Alomar calling. If he shoves, we're never folding, so... Okay, we're flipping. Running clubs, ace, queen. Hey, that is a beautiful, beautiful card. Alright. Okay. Got a little bit lucky there, but 48-52 is not exactly that grandiose of a luck box play there. Now we have enough chips that we can probably start leaning a little bit here. Fee shoves, we're obviously calling. We can't fold for 300 chips more. And we're ahead. Yeah, we're not that much ahead anymore. We're definitely not that much ahead anymore. But ace is good enough there. So we are down to 3 players. And we have a massive chip lead. So at this point, we would expect these two, since they're kind of relatively close in chips, these two are not going to want to bang heads too much. They're going to kind of want to outlast the other one to see who cashes here, so we'll hopefully be able to take advantage of that. If he shoves, we'll probably be folding. I think we're going to bet. What kind of price we get? 700 to win 2,500. I don't think he flopped a full house. So we're getting 3.5 to 1. So we can call. Okay. Yes, and we got there. We were getting the right price to call there, so I mean that's kind of a no-brainer. There's no way he had a full house there, so we were definitely never drawing dead. So, we're just gonna lead out a lot with this guy. He's gonna see a lot of flops, and he's shown no inkling to fight back very often. When he checks, that usually means he's planning on folding if you show any aggression. He's folded to continuation bet. Two people have continuation bet him twice. He's folded both times, so we're just going to keep firing at him. Okay. He can have that one. But that is not going to stop us from raising, and is not going to stop us from continuation betting. It's just going to be every hand with him. We'll just keep firing. You know, if he starts going all in every time, okay. So maybe we'll start making a little bit of an adjustment here. Well, now this is going to work out perfect. Oh. I thought he was going to put himself in the cage there. Maybe he did have a couple hands in a row there. Those are just some anomalies. So we're just going to keep pecking away. Alright, well, definitely not going to do that again because that has not worked out well for us. We are going to do this again. Okay. Well, we're just going to keep going at it. He probably is not ever showing up with an ace here. Definitely not going to show up with an ace here. Yeah. If he shoves, that's a pretty good card for us. Does he ever have an ace-9? No. Could he have fours full? Yeah. His most likely hand is an ace. If he's got a 9, we've got him beat. So we're going to go ahead and call. Okay. There is a winner. 379. Rich. So that was, we had pretty good cards that came in some pretty good spots, but we had a pretty good idea what everybody was doing. We made a couple little adjustments there, and that is a win. And we like wins. Doesn't matter what level they are, winning is always nice. That one was not nearly as long as the last one, 21 minutes. Thanks for tuning in. Your input and constructive criticism is appreciated.